गणानां त्वा गणपतिं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पतानः शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनं श्रीमहागणाधिपतये नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ शन्नो मित्रः शं वरुणः शन्नो भवत्वर्यमा शन्न इन्द्रो बृहस्पतिः शन्नो विष्णुरुक्रमः। नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायो त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि कृतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारम्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Dear friends, we are in the concluding bhashyam of Sri Shankaracharya, concluding bhashyam for the Shikshavalli. At the end of Shikshavalli, he is giving a comparative picture of what is karma and what is jnanam. So I think we may take one or two more classes, this class and also maybe next class. So in the last class, what we were seeing was the Purvapakshi was saying that there are some Shrutis called Gati Shruti and Aishwarya Shruti, and that Aishwarya Shruti says that a man of say knowledge, that is a realized person, he can go to any loka he wants, and he can get any desire he wants. So that is what he was quoting. That is Stribhirva Yanairva Yadi Pitruloka Kamo Bhavati. If he wants to go to Pitruloka, he can go to Pitruloka. If he wants any type of pleasures, all types of pleasures he can get. Ityadi Shrutinancha Popaha. So all those Shrutis will be negated if you say that karmas are not needed. Then the Siddhanti was saying, Karya Brahma Vishayatvat Tasam. All those things which you are mentioned, they are at the level of Karya Brahma. And we saw that Vedanta talks at two levels. One at a relative level, that is the empirical level, where we visualize what is called Hiranyagarbha, that Prathama Jiva, in which all these God forms, etc. are visualized. And then at the supreme level, it is the Nirguna Brahma, the pure consciousness, which has no attributes, which has no kartrutva, no doership, etc. So Vedanta talks at those two levels. So that is what Siddhanti points out. Siddhanti points out that Karya Brahma Vishayatvat Tasam. What all you say, they relate to Karya Brahma. And Karyehi Brahmani Striyadayasyuhu. In that Karya Brahma only what all pleasures you are mentioning, all those things exist. Then Ekameva Dvitiyam Yatrananyat Pashyati, etc., etc. This is the Ekatva Drushti. When the person has realized the oneness, when the person has realized that there is only one, and apart from Brahman there is nothing else. When he realizes that, then all these things, they become irrelevant. All karma becomes irrelevant. Then Virodhacha Vidya Karmanoho Samuchaya Anupapattihi. We read up to that line. Virodhacha Vidya Karmanoho means Vidya and Karma, because they contradict each other. Samuchaya Anupapattihi. Their combination it is not possible. So up to that point we read. So let us read further. Pravilina Kartradi Karaka Vishesha Tattva Vishayahi Vidya. Pravilina
Kartradi Karaka Vishesha Tattva Vishayahi
Vidya. Tad Viparita Karaka Sadhyena Karmana. Virudhyate. Nahi ekam vastu. Paramarthataha Kartradi Visheshavat. Tat shunyam cha iti ubhayatha drashtum shakyate. Avasyam hi anyatarat mithya syat. Okay, we'll stop here. So he is again explaining Samuchaya Anupapattihi, and then he is continuing to explain. The same Siddhanti is continuing to explain the difference between Vidya and Karma. Vidya means the awareness of Brahma, the knowledge of Brahma. When a person has realized that oneness, when a person has realized that apart from Brahman nothing exists, there all these things like karta, karma, karanam, etc., they all disappear. They all disappear. So that is what he says. Pravilina kartradi karaka vishesha tattva vishayahi vidya. You know that in Sanskrit grammar you have got what is called kartrukarakam, karmakarakam, karanakarakam, sampradhanakarakam, apadanakarakam, etc. You are aware of all that. That is, suppose you take a sentence like Ramena, Ramaha, Banena, Ravanam, Ahanat. Suppose I say Ramaha, Banena, Ravanam, Ahanat. Then what is Rama is? He is the subject. He is the subject, Karta. So that is in Kartrukaraka. Banena, with an arrow, that is an instrument. That is in the instrumental case. So that becomes what Karaka? Karanakaraka. Karanam is an instrument. Karanakaraka. Then Ravanam. Ravana is the karma there. That is the say object there. So that is what is that vibhakti? Dvitiya vibhakti. That is karma kartrukarakam, karmakarakam, karanakarakam. All the three are there. Suppose I say Ramaya pustakam dadami. I am giving a book to Rama. That is in sampradhanakaraka. I am giving something. Sampradhanam. Sampradhana is chaturthi, we say. So like that, these are all in any activity, there is somebody called a doer. There is some sort of action, there is some karma, there is some object which is there, and maybe some instrument also, and something happens from some other thing, something falls, suppose vrukshat patati, phalam patati. So from that vruksha something is getting separated. So there is some activity in all these things. So karakam is something which defines the relationship, or not defines, which describes rather, let us say, defines also, okay. It defines the relationship between the subject, the predicate, karma, all these things in a sentence. So kartrukaraka is one, karmakaraka is one, karanakaraka is one. But in Brahman awareness, where everything is one, there is no question of ganta gamanam, there is no question of a goer, there is no question of destination, there is no question of a karta, and there is no question of karma. So where all these things, pravilina means they are all dissolved. Vilinam, you know. Yeah. Vilinam. Pra is only an upasarga. Vi also is an upasarga. Lina. Laya. It comes from the laya, word laya. Laya means lean. The English word probably lean also comes into that. Lean. So pravilina. So that is something which is so totally dissolved. All these things have disappeared, subdued. Pravilina kartradi karaka vishesha tattva vishayahi vidya. In this vidya means that knowledge, in that knowledge of oneness, all these things, they are all dissolved. Kartra, karana, karakam, all these karaka visheshas. Vishesha means all this distinction. Vishesha means specialities. All those specialities, this is karta, this is karma, this is karanam, etc., they have all disappeared. All these visheshas have disappeared. But then karma is something which is having all these. So that is why he says, tad viparita karaka sadhyena karmana. Karma is something which is karaka sadhyam. Karma is something which is achieved by a karaka. Karaka sadhyam means achieved by karaka. Tad viparita. Tad viparita means as opposed to that vidya. As opposed to that vidya, karma is something which is achieved by karaka only. So naturally, something which has nothing to do with karaka, it is opposed to something which is totally dependent on karaka, isn't it? Vidya is something totally opposed, where totally all those things are dissolved, and karma is something where all these things are required. So these two are naturally contradicting. Then nahi ekam vastu paramarthata kartradi visheshavat. So in one object, ekam vastu, ekam vastu kartradi visheshavat. Visheshavat means that which is having vishesha. Visheshavat, that means that which is having, matubarthaka. In one object, suppose you say that karta, karma, kriya, all those visheshas are there. That is one thing. And in the same thing, there cannot be absence of all this. It may be possible at two different times, but not at the same time in one person. Nahi ekam vastu kartradi visheshavat tat shunyam cha, and devoid of that. Tat shunyam means devoid of those. You see, in one object, you are finding karta, karma, kartrukarana, karakam, karanakarakam, karmakarakam, etc. And in the same object, you cannot say that all those things are absent. It is not possible. So, nahi ekam vastu paramarthataha. Paramarthataha means at the absolute level. At the absolute level, at a vyavaharika level it can be there, but not at an absolute level. Kartradi visheshavat tat shunyam cha iti ubhayatha drashtum shakyate. You can't look at it in two ways. Ubhayatha means two ways, in both ways rather, not two ways. Two ways means dvidha. Ubhayatha means both ways. You can't look at it in both ways at the same time. Then avashyam hi anyatarat mithya. Anyatarat means one of the two. Anyatarat means one of the two. Avashyam anyatarat mithya. Necessarily, avashyam means necessarily. One thing has to be mithya. Mithya means unreal. It is only appearing, it is not there. Mithya means not totally something which is not even appearing. It is appearing. It is appearing, but it is not, it is unreal. Avashyam hi anyatarat mithya syat. Then let us read. Anyatarasya cha mithyatva prasange.
Anyatarasya cha mithyatva prasange.
Yuktam yat.
Yuktam yat.
Swabhavika jnana vishayasya dvaitasya mithyatvam.
Swabhavika jnana vishayasya dvaitasya mithyatvam.
Mithyatvam. Okay. So, if at all you have to say, if you have to propose the mithyatvam, the falsity, mithyatvam is the falsity. If you have to propose the falsity of one of these two, anyatarasya mithyatva prasange, that means if you have to propose the mithyatva or the falsity of one of these two things, then what is mithya? What is mithya? Mithya is something which is caused by ajnana. You see, something which is caused by ajnana is there, something which is caused by jnanam also is there. There is Rajju Sarpa Bhranti. This Rajju is there. Sarpam also you are seeing. Then which is Mithya and which is Satyam? So something which is generated or which is caused by avidya or ajnanam or false perception is something which is Mithya. And something which is caused by right perception is the truth. Isn't it? So Anyatarasya Mithyatva Prasange, when the question of you can say very correctly, Mithyatva Prasange means when the question of deciding which is false and which is real, when that question arises, then yuktam, it is proper to say yuktam yat swabhavika ajnana vishayasya. Swabhavika means it is something which is anadi, swabhava. It is something which is there in your nature, which it is coming in the nature, human nature, anadi. It is something which is say anadi, what do we say in English? Anadi means beginningless. So that ignorance is something which is supposed to be beginningless. Anadi, it is coming to us, but then it is having an end. It is ignorance is something, it is anadi, but santam. That means it can come to an end. How can it come to an end? By vidya, by awareness. So this yat swabhavika jnana vishayasya dvaitasya. Dvaita means the perception of duality. Perception of duality. Tasya mithyatvam. Dvaitasya mithyatvam. Mithyatvam is the falsity of this dual perception. The falsity of perception of duality you can establish, but not the falsity of oneness. You see, one is appearing as many. So when that is so, then naturally when you have to establish the falsity of one thing, you have to say that whatever is say mistakenly perceived is something which is false and not something which is perceived as per proper analysis and proper verification and proper understanding. So then he is also quoting some Shruti lines. Yatra hi dvaitam iva, let us read. Yatra hi dvaitam iva bhavati.
Yatra hi dvaitam iva bhavati.
Mrutyos samrutyum apnoti.
Mrutyos samrutyum apnoti.
Atha yatranyat pasyati tadalpam.
Atha
yatranyat pasyati अन्योसावन्योहमस्मि उदरमन्तरं कुरुते अथ तस्य भयं भवति इत्यादि श्रुतिशतेभ्यः. Hundreds of such shrutis are there, he says. Shrutishatebhyah. By hundreds of such shrutis, on the strength of hundreds of such shrutis we can say. What are those shrutis? Yatra hi dvaitam iva bhavati. There is a sentence from Brihadaranyaka. Yatra hi dvaitam iva bhavati. Tad itaram pashyati. That is the complete line. Tad itaraha itaram pashyati. So where yatra means avidya kale. Yatra means normally yatra means in a place where. Yatra means in a place where. But here the context is where the context is avidya. Yatra he means avidya kale. In that ignorant state, dvaitam iva bhavati. It is looking as though it is many. Dvaitam does not mean only two, many. It can mean many. The dvaitam iva bhavati. He sees itaram pashyati. So that means a person sees another person. He sees somebody as something different from himself. So when someone sees somebody else as different from himself, that is what is duality, perception of duality. So there, say that is ajnana dasha. So that is that context. Yatra hi dvaitam eva bhavati. Then mrutyosya mrutyumapnoti. This line we have seen in Kathopanishad. Mrutyosya mrutyumapnoti ya ihananeva pashyati. A person who sees duality, he moves from mrutyu to mrutyu. Mrutyu to mrutyu means from one janma to another janma. Janma means mrutyu, because janma invariably follows, mrutyu invariably follows janma. So, mrutyu, from one mrutyu, he goes to another mrutyu means, in other words, he goes to another janma. From one mrutyu, he goes to another mrutyu. From one death, he goes to another death. So, which means he transmigrates, keeps on transmigrating perpetually. Then, mrutyosya mrutyumapnoti. Then, atha yatra nanyat pashyati tadalpam. Yatra na anyat pashyati tadalpam. That is, where a person sees something as anyat. Anyat means different. Yatra na, there is no na here. Yatra anyat pashyati. Where a person sees something different. Tad alpam. Alpam means that is petty. That is something trivial. That is limited, delimited. Whatever it may be, it is delimited. And where he sees oneness, that state is called bhuma. That bhuma, it is a technical term in Chandogya Upanishad. This particular line is from that bhuma vidya, where atayatra anyat pashyati tadalpam. That full line is somewhere there. So let us see, it is there in the note. Nata bhuma lakshanokti anantaram tad viparita alpasya lakshana uchate bhuma lakshana dardhyaya. That line is not given in this by Vanamalakara also. So but anyway, the context is that of bhuma. Bhuma means that supreme, say that oneness where there is supreme bliss. Bhuma. That is what is that word bhuma. Atha yatra anyat pashyati tadalpam. Where that anyat na pashyati, that is what is bhuma. Where he does not see any difference, that state is called bhuma. Then anyosa vanyohamasmi. This is again a beautiful line from Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, where he says anyosa vanyohamasmiti evam veda sa pashurevam hidevanam. Something like that, that line goes. That is, where in the matter, when you are worshipping a deity, if you think that deity is something which is different from you, then you are becoming a slave to that deity. That is what it says. It is as simple as that. When you are worshipping a deity, you worship it as yourself. You worship it with all full love and as something which is okay. According to tradition, whatever thing has come to you in tradition, you are doing it. You are being a jnani. He is also doing a worship because he is a role model for others. Because if a person thinks I am a jnani and then I need not go to a temple, I need not do worship, etc., etc., he is violating his upadhi dharma. A sannyasi may not do, but suppose you are a gruhastha or a vanaprastha, whatever it is, you are a jnani. And then you think that you are a jnani, you need not go to a temple, you need not do anything, you need not do your nitya karma, etc. Your son also, he will also follow the same. So you are setting a false example. So, but then, what is his frame of mind? He doesn't look at it as something different. Because great people like Madhusudana Saraswati, Appaya Dikshita, they were great philosophers, great Advaitins, but at the same time they were also great devotees. Appaya Dikshita was a very great devotee of Shiva, and Madhusudana Saraswati was a very great devotee of Balakrishna. There is a very famous line, Tathapi Bhakti Tarunendu Shekhare is Appaya Dikshita. Then Madhusudana Saraswati's line, something similar is there. So like that, and Shankaracharya's famous line itself is there. Satyapi Bhedapagame Natha Tavaham. You remember that shloka? I have quoted it earlier also. Though that is a stotra, one of the stotras of Shankaracharya, where he says, O Lord, though the difference between you and me, it has disappeared, but still I belong to you. Satyapi Bhedapagame, Bhedapigame Satyapi. That is, though this Bheda has disappeared, Nata Tava Aham Na Mamakinasvam. I say that I am your follower. I don't say you are my follower. Na Mamakinasvam Samudrohi Tarangaha Kvachana Samudrona Tarangaha. A beautiful line. You see, you take a wave and a samudram, that is the ocean. You say that a wave belongs to the ocean. You don't say that ocean belongs to the wave. So I am like that wave. I am like a petty wave. Samudrohi tarangaha. Kvachana samudrona tarangaha. So like that, but still, you see, you see, when you do some puja also, you do it with love. You do it with love. You do it as not different from you. So you don't make any requests. You need not to do petitioning. When you go to a temple, you do your worship with all love and with a sense of equality, with a sense of oneness, not equality. Equality again means duality. I am equal to him means duality. With that sense of oneness and love, you worship. When you worship like this, Anyosa Vanyohamasmi, Anyaha Asau, that is different, Anyaha Aham. So with that frame of mind, when you are worshipping, you are becoming a slave. Pashu Revam Hi Devanam. He is like a Pashu. He is a slave to the gods. So that is what that line says. Then Udaram Antaram Kurute Athatasya Bhayam Bhavati. This, of course, this line we are going to get in this very Upanishad. Udaram Antaram Kurute Athatasya Bhayam Bhavati. Udaram, the normal meaning is stomach, but here it is not stomach. Ut aram. Aram means even a little bit. Ut aram antaram kurute. Even if there is an iota of this perception of duality. Even if there is an iota of perception of duality. Udaram antaram kurute. Antaram means bhedam. Antaram kurute. Udaram antaram kurute. Even if there is some iota of difference, iota of awareness of difference, perception of difference, then atatasya bhayam bhavati. Unless you see oneness, you will not overcome your fear. Where you are seeing a duality, there is fear. So that is why even the mightiest fighter, he is afraid of his rival. Because there can always be some rival who can beat him. So there is a very famous Subhashita by Bhartrihari. Bhoge Rogabhayam Kulet Shutibhayam, etc. There is where he says, a strong man, he is afraid of his opponent. A very great scholar, he is afraid of a rival scholar. So in all these things there is a fear, sense of fear. So Vairagyameva Abhayam, that is what he says. The last line says Vairagyameva Abhayam, where you are totally unattached to all these things. Viraga, totally unattached. That is the level of fearlessness. So anyway, Udaram Antaram Kurute Athatasya Bhayam Bhavati Ityadi Shruti Shatebhyah. By hundreds of Shrutis, the thing is established. Then Satyatvam cha Ekatvasya Ekadhaivanu Drashtavyam Ekameva Dvitiyam Brahmaivedam Sarvam Atmaivedam Sarvam Ityadi Shrutibhyah. Nacha Sampradhanadikaraka Bheda Darshane Karmopapadyate Anyatva Darshanapavadascha Vidyavishaye Sahasrashah Shruyate Vidyavishaye Apavadascha. Apavada is singular, so Vidyavishaye Shruyate. What is the full line in your text? Apavadascha, fine. Apavadascha Shruyante. My book says Apavadascha Shruyate. Apavadaha not needed, because negation, there is no need for plural for that negation. Apavadaha, apavadascha shruyante. It doesn't matter also, even that is okay. Okay, fine, let us see. Satyatvam cha ekatvasya. Ekatvasya satyatvam. That is, the ekatvam means the oneness. The satyatvam. Oneness alone is the truth. The whatever, that oneness alone is the truth. So that fact is being told by several Shrutis. What are they? Ekadhaiva anudrashtavyam. That is another Shruti by Brihadaranyaka. Ekadha eva anudrashtavyam. Ekadhaiva. That is ekadha eva. As one only and not as dvidha bahudha. As one only, anudrashtavyam. Anudrashtavyam. Anu means Acharya Shastra, Acharya Upadeshad Anu. That is, after you read Shastra, after you study Shastra, after you go to a teacher and the teacher teaches you. So after that you see, you realize, see means realize, that oneness. Ekadha eva anudrashtavyam. Then ekameva advitiyam. It is totally non-dual, there is nothing else. Ekameva. Then Brahmaivedam sarvam. This is again from Mundakopanishad. Brahma eva idam sarvam. What all we see is Brahma only. Then Atmaivedam sarvam. What all you see is Atma. Then of course in the notes he says, when you say Brahmaivedam sarvam and Atmaivedam sarvam, what does it mean? All this you see is Brahma. All this you see is Atma. Then what does it mean? Brahma is same as Atma, isn't it? They are both in Samanadhikaranyam. You know the word Samanadhikaranyam. Samanadhikaranyam is expression of two things in the same vibhakti. When you are expressing two things in the same vibhakti, that is Samanadhikaranyam. I say, okay, this gentleman is Srinivas. Oh, this gentleman, he is a good man, let us say. So which means Srinivas is a good man. So both are in Samanadhikaranya. So here, Brahmaiva idam sarvam. All this is Brahma. Then the next sentence says, all this is Atma. What does it mean? The same Brahma is Atma. They are both in Samanadhikaranyam, expressed in the same vibhakti. Same linga, vachana, linga may be different, same vibhakti, let us say. Atma Vedam Sarvam Ityadi Shruti Shatebhyaha. So this vision of unity is the constant theme which you find in Upanishads. You see, right from the beginning, whatever we have seen, even in the Upasanas, what did we see? Bhuhu, Bhuvaha, Swaha, all these things. They are all exercises to see oneness. They are all exercises to see, to enable the Upasaka, to enable the person who meditates, to enable this practitioner to get out of the idea of, say, identifying with his body-mind complex. This is the petitioner, not the petitioner, what is this? The seeker, or rather the person, the practitioner, The practitioner, he is so say settled with the idea of self as the body-mind complex. So that idea has to be unsettled. So that is why all these upasanas are there. Upasanas are there saying that you are not your simple body-mind complex. The whole earth, as a first step, you visualize that the entire bhuhu is yourself. The next step, the entire bhuvaha is yourself. The next step, the entire suvaha is yourself. The next step is visualize that Mahat itself is you. So you are getting out of this, you are getting totally unsettled and dislodged out of this idea of yourself as the body-mind complex. So that is the ultimate thing in that upasanas also. So what we are finding in the whole, throughout this Upanishad, not only this Upanishad but in all Upanishads, is that Sarvatma Bhava, that oneness, seeing unity, seeing one as not different from the Supreme. So that notion of oneness is the most important thing, that vision of unity. Ityadi Shrutibhyaha. Then next line, Nacha Sampradhanadikaraka Bheda Adarshane. This line also we read. Sampradhanadikaraka Bheda Adarshane. Adarshane means when you are not seeing, na darshane. When you are not seeing such Bheda. What Bheda? Sampradhana Adikaraka. So earlier we saw that Kartradikaraka. Here we are seeing Sampradhanakaraka. Sampradhanakaraka means Sampradhane Chaturthi. Ramaya Pustakam Dadami. So Bhavate Lekhinim Dadami, suppose I say. That is, you are in that Sampradhana Karaka. So Ramaya is in that Sampradhana Karaka. So Sampradhanadi means any Karaka, reference to not only Sampradhana, refers to all Karakas. Karaka Bheda Adarshane. When you are not seeing that Bheda, when you are not seeing that division at all, Karma na upapadyate. Karma na upapadyate. Karma doesn't arise at all. The question of karma doesn't arise at all where you are not seeing the difference. You are not seeing any karakam there. Then Anyatva Darshana Apavadasya, that is, we read this. Anyatva Darshanam. Anyatva Darshanam means seeing the other one. Anyatva Darshanam, seeing another one. That is Bheda Drushti. Bheda Drushti Apavadasya. Apavada means negation. Apavada means negation of this Bheda Drushti. Negation of this perception of duality, we can say. Anyatva Darshana Apavadasya means negation of the perception of duality. Vidya Vishaye. Vidya Vishaya means in the context of Vidya. In the context of Vidya, or whenever there is a when Vidya is the subject matter, there is a total negation of this Bheda Drushti. In the context of Vidya, in the context of Brahma Vidya, there is a negation of this perception of duality. Iti sahasrashaha shruyate. In thousands of places you can show. Sahasrashaha, not one, sahasrashaha. We have seen it in Gita also. Satvika Drushti, Rajasa Drushti, Tamasa Drushti, we have seen it in that Sattva Rajas Tamo Gunas and Satvika Drushti. That is seeing oneness, is that Satvika Drushti. Krutsnavad Ekasmin, yes, Etra Krutsnavad Ekasmin, somewhere we saw in the Gita is not here. Anyway, they say that Ekatva Drushti is a Satvika Drushti. Seeing difference is that Rajasa Drushti. So like that. So, Ataha, let us read, Ato Virodho Vidya Karmanoho Atascha Samuchchayanupapattihi Tatra Yaduktam Samhatabhyam Vidya Karmabhyam Moksha iti Anupapannam Tat. So up to this point is Siddhanta. Siddhanti is saying Ataha Virodho Vidya Karmanoho. Vidya Karmanoho Virodhaha. That is this Vidya and Karma. Vidya means not Upasana. Vidya means Brahma Vidya, the knowledge of Brahman. And the Karma, they cannot coexist in a person at the same time. It can exist in different times. I may be a Karmatha now. Maybe after 5 years I will go to a teacher. I will realize that I realize at least theoretically or internalize by Nididhyasana etc. And then I realize that there is only one, that is Supreme Brahman. Then this karma is not there in me. Or even if I perform some karma by virtue of my upadhi dharma is there. If you are in a upadhi, that upadhi dharma is there. By upadhi dharma I may be pursuing, but that karma is not in me. That is karma abhasa they say. Abhasa means it is only an appearance of karma. It is just an apparition. It is an appearance of karma. So, vidya karmanoho virodha. Then atascha. Atascha means therefore. Ataha cha. Therefore, samuchchaya anupapattihi. This samuchchaya, this combination is impossible. Then tatra yaduktam samhatabhyam vidya karmabhyam moksha iti. The argument which was advanced by the Purvapakshi earlier. Purvapakshi advanced an argument. Samhatabhyam vidya karmabhyam moksha, vidya and karma, when they are joined in equal proportions, then moksha iti tad anupapannam. Anupapannam means it is just impossible. It is not just possible. Then Purvapakshi raises another point. So he raises the point, you are saying that all these karmas are irrelevant, but there are lot many portions of the same Veda which are talking about so many karmas. You see, Veda is talking at different levels to different levels of people. So Purvapakshi is raising that. Purvapakshi is saying, you are saying that Vedas, the purport of Veda is something different. It is about Brahma Vidya only. But then what about various other texts, various other portions of the text where karmas have been told, karmas have been prescribed? So that is his Purvapaksha. So let us read. Vihitatvat karmanam Shruti Virodha iti chet. So this is the Sangraha Vakya of Purvapaksha. Purvapakshi also makes a brief statement and then elaborates. Then he elaborates, Yad Yupamrudya Kartradhikaraka Vishesham Atmaikatva Vijnanam Vidhiyate Sarpadi Bhranti Vijnanopamardaka Rajvadi Vishaya Vijnanavat Tarhi Praptaha Karma Vidhishrutinam Nirvishayatvad Virodhaha.
प्राप्तः कर्मविधिश्रुतीनां निर्विषयत्वात् विरोधः.
Okay. So he raises the question, vihitatvat karmanam. That is, karmanam vihitatvat. You take that word in the beginning. Karmanam vihitatvat. Because the karmas have been prescribed. Vihita means vidhi. Vidhi is the noun. Vihita is prescribed. Vidhi is prescription. Vihita means prescribed. Vihitatvat means because it has been prescribed. Karmanam vihitatvat means because all these karmas have been prescribed, they have been mandated, they have been ordered by the Shruti. Because of that, Shruti Virodha. What you are saying is Shruti Virodha. You are saying that Shruti, all these karmas, they are not needed at all. Shruti Virodha iti chet, and he is elaborating. Yadi upamrudya kartradhikaraka vishesham atmaikatva vijnanam vidhiyate. So if you say that the Shruti is only prescribing, vidhiyate, means it is being prescribed. If you say that this atmaikatva vijnanam only is prescribed, atmaikatva vijnanam is the oneness of the Atma. The knowledge of oneness of Atma is what is prescribed. What is being prescribed. And what is that? Upamrudya karaka kartradi karaka vishesham. That is, karta, karma, kriya, all these karakas, they have been upamrudita. Upamrudita, mardanam, you know. Mardanam means beating, thrashing. Mardanam, you know, mardanam, gunavardhanam, they say. If you beat some person, you are teaching him a good lesson. So that, of course, that is in olden days, that is a crude way of teaching lesson. Mardanam, gunavardhanam. We should not follow now. And so, upamrudya kartradhikaraka vishesham. That is, all these karta, karma, all these karakas, they have been thrashed. They have been thrashed and removed. Upamrudya. You followed it? Upamrudya kartradhikaraka vishesham. So, in this Atma Vidya, Atmaikatva Vijnanam, all these differences, they have been beaten out. They have been thrashed out and thrown. They have been thrashed and thrown out. That is what is Upamrudya. Upamrudya kartradhikaraka vishesham atmaikatva vijnanam vidhiyate. Then he is also saying, sarpadi bhranti vijnanopamardaka. So this sarpadi bhranti vijnanam, this is the knowledge of, or rather the false knowledge. Bhranti vijnanam. Bhranti vijnanam is this false knowledge of sarpam. The false knowledge of sarpam, it has been thrashed out. It has been upamardaka. It is being thrashed out by Rajvadi Vishaya Jnanavat. You see, this false knowledge of the Sarpa is being thrashed out, is being dismissed by this real knowledge of the Sarpa. You are seeing the, sorry, not Sarpa, Raju, rope. You are seeing the rope. You are seeing the reality, that is the rope. And then this knowledge, real knowledge, is driving away, it is thrashing away the false knowledge. Just as the right knowledge is thrashing and dismissing false knowledge, similarly, all this kartradi visheshakam, all these things, they are all thrashed out by the knowledge of oneness. So you say that this is the thing. Okay, tentatively let me agree, but you are saying this. Then tarhi means in that case, praptaha karma vidhishrutinam nirvishayatvad virodha. Praptaha has to be connected to virodha. Virodha praptaha. Tarhi virodha praptaha. That means then a sort of contradiction has arisen. A sort of contradiction with what? Contradiction you are deriving. Praptaha means it is derived or it has arisen. Virodha praptaha. What? Karma vidhishrutinam nirvishayatvat. Karma vidhishrutinam. You see, Veda is prescribing so many karmas. But then there is nirvishaya. Nirvishaya means there is no objective. You are on one hand saying that there is karta, karma, kriya, all those things have disappeared. Then what is the use of this, say this karma, your prescription? You are saying you are giving a prescription. But then on the other hand you say that there is no karta, there is no karma, no kriya. Then nirvishayatva, that shruti virodha will arise. You follow? You see, tarhi praptaha karma vidhishrutinam nirvishayatva. Then who is the subject matter for that karma? Nirvishayatva. Karma becomes nirvishayam because there is no subject matter. There is nobody for whom that subject is, that karma has to be prescribed. Because that karta has disappeared. Karma, that objective has disappeared. Everything has disappeared. You have swallowed everything in your idea of oneness. So then to whom are they prescribed? To whom are they intended? So that is what it means. Nirvishayatvad virodha. Then you are contradicting. When you say that notion of oneness alone is there, all those things, kartra, karma, all those things, they have been beaten out, thrashed out, then who is the subject matter for all these things? So that is the question. Sacha virodho nayuktaha
Sacha virodho na yuktaha
pramanatvat shrutinam iti chet.
Pramanatvat shrutinam iti chet.
So up to this point is Purvapaksha. You see, such a virodho nayuktaha. It is not proper to say, it is not proper to have such a contradiction. Virodha nayuktaha means such a contradiction is not desirable. It is not proper. Why? Pramanatvat shrutinam. Because Shruti is Pramana. Shruti, the authority of the Shruti cannot be challenged. So Shruti has prescribed all these, say, karmas, and you say that there is only oneness. And when you say this, have this idea of oneness, all these other things, there is no Vishaya for karma, there is no subject matter for karma. To whom then to whom are they prescribed? So when such a contingency arises, that virodha, a contradiction arises, and such virodha is not appropriate. Pramanatvat shrutinam, because Shruti cannot be ignored. Shruti is a pramana, it is the authority. Then iti chet na, then Siddhanti says na purusharthopadesha paratvat shrutinam. Not dha, purushartha.
Purusharthopadesha paratvat shrutinam.
So shrutinam purusharthopadesha paratvat. That means Shrutihi purusharthopadesha para. So that is, you see, this tvat, this use of tvat we have to see. If you want to remove that tvat and put in simple sentence, you change the sentence Shrutihi purusharthopadesha para. That's all. Then in Shastra they say Shrutinam purusharthopadesha paratvat, they say. So like that. So this Shruti, they see what is the purpose of this Shruti. Shruti is not telling about moksha alone. It is telling about all the purusharthas. There are 4 purusharthas: dharma, artha, kama and moksha. So for this dharma, artha and kama, they are at the level of vyavahara. The dharma, artha and kama are at the level of vyavahara. That is the empirical level, and you can't ignore the empirical level. Everybody is not a Brahmavit, everybody is not a Jnani. So for 99.9% of the people, this karma is very much relevant. For only that 0.1% only, say this Brahmavidya may be relevant. So Purusharthopadesha paratva shrutinam, because there are these human goals, dharma, artha, kama, moksha, we know. Purushartha means Purushena Purushaihi arthyate. That is desired by people. Purusha means not only man, woman also. So it is human goals, let us say. All these human goals, dharma, artha, kama, they are all prescribed. And then how you have to go about. So that thing also, that the procedure also has to be monitored. How you have to do a particular karma. So that procedure has to be monitored. So for all that, there are so many things mentioned by the Shruti. Shruti is something like an encyclopedia. So now it has to take care of the whole society. And the whole society consists of people at different levels of maturity. For people at different levels of maturity, it has to say. So that is why Purusharthopadesha paratvat shrutinam. Then he is continuing. Vidyopadesha paratavat shrutihi
Vidyopadesha paratavat shrutihi
samsarat purusho mokshayitavya iti
Samsarat purusho mokshayitavya iti
samsara hetor avidyayaha vidyaya nivruttih kartavyeti
Vidyaya nivruttih kartavyeti
vidya prakashakatvena pravrutteti
Vidya prakashakatvena pravrutteti
na virodhaha. So he is giving some, he is elaborating his earlier statement. That is Purusharthopadesha paratva shrutinam. That is the Sangraha Vakyam of Siddhanti. So that Sangraha Vakyam, that brief sentence, he is elaborating. How? Vidyopadesha paratavat shrutihi. This Shruti is Vidyopadesha para. The ultimate, say, message of the Shruti, the final message of that Shruti is that Vidya. Vidya means Brahma Vidya, the knowledge of Brahman. So that may be the ultimate thing. But still, samsarat purusho mokshayitavyaha. Purushaha samsarat mokshayitavyaha. A person has to be extracted from out of this ocean of this samsara. A person is so submerged in this ocean of samsara, the fellow has to be brought out. He has to be extricated. Mokshaitavyaha. He has to be released. He has to be got released. Mokshaitavyaha. He should be got released. From this, you can say dense forest, or you can say, of course, there is no metaphor here. Samsarat mokshaitavyaha. You see, samsara is something like a ocean or something like a dense jungle. From that, the fellow has to be extricated. So that is it is. Mokshayitavya iti. Then samsara hetoho avidyayaha vidyaya nivruttih kartavya. This samsara hetu. What is the cause of this samsara? The cause of samsara is this avidya only. Avidya is ignorance. Ignorance means perception of duality. Not knowing oneself as the Brahman. So, samsara hetoho avidyayaha. Then vidyaya nivruttih kartavya. This avidya can be negated, can be removed by vidya only. Avidya can be removed by vidya only. So the Shruti is intending that this ignorance has to be negated or removed by vidya. Vidyaya nivruttih kartavya. Nivrutti means that dismissal of it. Nivrutti means total, say, removal, let us say. Nivrutti, nivaranam. Nivaranam, you know, removal. Apasaranam. All that thing has to be driven away. So nivruttih kartavya iti vidya prakashakatvena pravutta. Vidya prakashakatvena pravrutteti means pravrutta iti. Vidya prakashakatvena pravrutta means the Shruti, the main objective is vidya prakashakatvam. That is to highlight vidya prakashakatvam, to highlight this vidya, to illustrate, to highlight, to tell in a very, very clear way what is this Brahma Vidya. Vidya prakashakam. Prakashakam means illumining. Prakashakam. Prakasha is light. Prakashakam means something which gives you light. Prakashakatvena, prakashakatvam means the ability to do that, ability to say illumine, ability to drive away darkness. So that is that prakashakatvam. So vidya prakashakatvena. So you are giving that knowledge which is driving away, you say, this ignorance, this darkness called ignorance. So Shruti is giving that knowledge which is driving away ignorance. So pravutta iti na virodhaha. So therefore there is no contradiction. You see, the Shruti has to take care of all types of people in the society. So that is why at one level it is teaching moksha, at another level it is teaching karma. So all this is necessary in order to bring out a person from that samsara. Then the Purvapakshi adds some more small question. Evamapi कर्त्रादि कारक सद्भाव प्रतिपादन परम शास्त्रम विरुध्यत एवेति चेत न एवमपि. Okay, evamapi, even if you say so, कर्त्रादि कारक सद्भाव प्रतिपादन परम शास्त्रम. There are so many parts of the text, there are so many portions of the Vedas which talk about kartradi karaka sadbhava. Sadbhava means existence. Sadbhava does not mean any good spirit or anything. Sadbhava means existence. The existence or presence of this karta, karaka and different karakas, kartra, karanam, etc., etc. It is there in so many places. Kartra pratipadana param. Pratipadana means demonstrating it, proposing it. Kartradi sadbhava pratipadana param shastram. Very several portions of the text which are showing, which are illustrating all these karta, karma, kriya, karanam, etc. All those things are there. So all that shastram virudhyata eva. You are still contradicting. You have not properly explained. So that is what he says. So maybe he needs some more explanation. That is when Shankaracharya is giving some more explanation. So he says, यथा प्राप्तमेव कारकास्तित्वम् उपादाय उपात्त दुरितक्षयार्थं कर्माणि विदधत् शास्त्रम् मुमुक्षूणां फलार्थिनां च फलसाधनं मुमुक्षूणां न कारकास्तित्वे व्याप्रियते. Okay, so he has given further explanation. Yatha praptamev karakastitvam upadaya. You see, human behavior, human nature. In this human nature, whatever you say, there is an example of a dog's tail. A dog's tail, even if you put some plates over that and then you keep it straight for some time, and the moment you remove that plate, again it will turn into a hook. So a dog's tail is always crooked. So like that, yatha praptameva, human nature is there. Human nature is always like that. It is going after, say, perception of duality. It is seeing, say, division. It is so deeply entrenched with the notion of I. So, yatha praptameva karakastitvam upadaya karakasya astitvam. The presence of this karakas, upadaya. Upadaya means having accepted human nature as such. So, that is what it means. You see, Shastram also, it has to accept human nature. You see, human being is having so many desires. Human being is greedy, human being is selfish, so many things are there. And Shastram has to take care of all that. Shastram cannot go against human nature. Shastram has to give scope for all your desires. You see, that is why the institution of marriage is there. Otherwise, there will be free sex in society. The institution of marriage is there, the institution of some, say maybe school, education, the institution called religion. There are so many institutions in society which take care of all the human needs. So the human, Shastram cannot straight away dictate moksham to everybody. So it has to take care of everybody. In fact, there are certain revealing passages in Manusmriti if you read. You see, Manusmriti, though we deride it quite often, Manusmriti takes care of human nature so much. For example, you see, it talks about, say, the marriage of a girl, let us say. Marriage of a girl, after the girl attains puberty, if the father does not perform the marriage of the daughter within a few years after that, then the daughter has got the freedom to go away with anybody she likes. So that is what Manusmriti says. It appears shocking. But then Manusmriti is taking care of human nature. Manusmriti is seeing what is human nature. It is accepting, it is mandating that a father has to perform the marriage of a daughter within time, so he can't ignore. So all these things this Smriti is saying. So like that, all Shastras, they have to take care of, they have to accept the human nature. Yatha praptameva karaka astitvam upadaya, having accepted the human nature as such, then upatta durita chayartham karmani vidatat shastram. This Shastram which is prescribing all this karmani vidadat, prescribing all those karmas. For what? Upatta durita chayartham. So we have accumulated so much of durita. Durita means the sin. Over the past so many years, so many lives, so many bad deeds must have been done. So there is so much of negative balance in our, say, balance sheet. In that balance sheet, there is so much of negative thing. So all that has to be slowly neutralized, to be got rid of. So for that, Shastram is prescribing karmas. You do this good karma, your past papam will go. You do another good karma, something else will go. So like that, there is a balance sheet. So karmani vidhadat shastram mumukshunam phalarthinancha phalasadhanam. So it is a phalasadhanam both for mumukshu and also for phalarthi. Phalarthi means one who desires fruit. Phalasya arthi, phalena arthi otherwise. Then mumukshunam, one who has got moksha ichha. Moksha ichha is mumuksha. Mumukshunam, for those who are desiring moksha, you go to Shastram. If you want some phalam, you want some say result, you also go to Shastram. So Shastram is a phala sadhanam. It is a means for achieving whatever you desire, whether you want phalam or whether you want moksha, you go to Shastram. That is why some of the gurus, they say Veda is something like a supermarket or super mall. So mega mall, let us say. So where mumukshunam phalarthinam cha phalasadhanam na karaka astitve vyapriyate. The emphasis is not on karaka astitva. Na karaka astitve vyapriyate. Vyapriyate means it is not totally engrossed in that. Vyapara, Vyapara means activity. Vyapriyate means it is so engrossed in that. The Shastra is not engrossed in telling about, say, this karma only. Karakastitve. It is not, the primary purpose is not to tell about karaka. The emphasis is not on karaka. Let us say this way also. Vyapriyate, the emphasis is not on karaka, the emphasis is on something else. So it is not engrossed in telling about, this karaka alone. Then, upachita durita prabandhasya hi, upachita durita prabandhasya hi, upachita durita pratibandhasya hi,
उपचित दुरित प्रतिबंधस्य हि
vidyotpattirnavakalpate. So for one who has accumulated this durita, upachita means having collected, durita means all bad actions, durita pratibandha means an obstacle. So this all these duritas which have been collected, all these sins which have accumulated, it is a big obstacle. So a person who has such obstacles, a person who is saddled with that obstacle, let us say, you see, upachita durita pratibandhasya, that means of the person who is saddled with the obstacle of all these past bad deeds. So that is how it means. Upachita durita pratibandhaha is one word, so that one samasa. It is referring to a person who is saddled with the obstacle of say so many bad deeds, earlier bad deeds. For such a man, vidyotpattihi na avakalpate. You see, there is no question of vidya, Brahma vidya arising in such a person. Vidyotpattihi na avakalpate. It doesn't arise. Na avakalpate. It doesn't happen. Na avakalpate means it doesn't happen in such a person. For a person who is having such a big obstacle, who is having a big obstacle of this bad karma, vidya does not arise. He has to get rid of that obstacle. All that pratibandha has to go. And that pratibandha can go only by vidya. Pratibandha, not by vidya, pratibandha can go by karma. And when all this pratibandha has gone by karma, then of course his mind is in a position to sit down, do shravana, manana, nididhyasana. So that is what it is. So tatshayecha vidyotpattihi, vidyotpatti syat, tatasya vidyanivrittihi, ततः आत्यंतिक संसारोपरमः. संसारोपरमः न संसार उपरमः, संसारोपरमः. So तत्क्षये च विद्योत्पत्ति स्यात्. Then vidyotpattihi syat tatkshaye. Tatkshaye means tat pratibandhasya kshaye. Only when that obstacle is gone, only when that obstacle is removed, then vidyotpattihi syat. Vidya will arise only when that obstacle is removed, and then tatasya avidya nivrittihi, and by that only this avidya nivritti. You see, a man is saddled with so many bad things. That means his mind is still having so many vasanas, all those the debris, the debris of all bad things. It is there very much in his samskaras. In his samskara is say the impressions which are there in the mind. All those things which are predispositions which are there, all those bad predispositions are there. Such a person cannot sit in a Vedanta class. He cannot understand it, he cannot appreciate it. So it is only when a person purifies his mind by various good deeds, then only a person can sit in a Vedanta class. So that is what it is. Tat chayecha. Only when that pratibandha is gone, when you are having all the feeling, notions of anger, hatred and all these things, then your vidya will not arise. Vidyotpattihi syat, then tatasya avidya nivrittihi, then only this avidya nivritti is there, eradication of avidya. Then tataha atyantika samsaroparamaha, then this samsarasya uparamaha. Uparama means withdrawal. Uparama, uparati, both are one and the same. Samsarasya uparamaha. Samsaroparamaha means samsarasya uparamaha or samsarad uparamaha. Sorry, not samsarasya uparamaha, samsarad uparamaha. That withdrawal from this samsara. Samsarasya uparama also we can say, this samsara will disappear. So that samsara will withdraw, or this man will withdraw from samsara. You can say both ways. So for one who has that obstacle of this durita, it is not possible. But once that duritam is gone, that will give rise to vidya, and that will drive away avidya, then this samsara will disappear. So that is what it is. Is the time over?
Yes.
Atyantika samsaroparamaha. Okay, we will continue in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.